Okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about something I did with the Daisy 840 here. I have a lot of videos on this Daisy 840 Grizzly. I owned a Daisy 840 back in 1983. It was one of my first air guns besides the Daisy Red Ryder. So these have been around for quite a long time. The changes I've noticed is right here in this section right here where it's higher. And right there, I think back then they probably didn't have anything for a scope. I'm not sure because I don't have my original one. But anyway, I got a dot sight on there, so I wanted to show you what I did today. I'm going to read this off to you. There's a lot of details here because of the fact that some people like details, especially in England and stuff like that. There's a lot of people online. I get a lot of details from them. And then in return, I share details back with them also. Anyway, this is a Daisy 840, and the test I was doing was at 15 yards. And I'm using a dot sight, and that's 5 minute of angle. And anytime you see 5 MOA, 4 MOA, they don't always print it, but what it means is how big the dot looks in inches at 100 yards. So if it says 5 minute of angle, it means the dot is going to look 5 inches big at 100 yards. The click value on this dot sight is 1/2 inch at 100 yards. So if you're clicking it one time, it's a 1/2 inch of movement at 100 yards, left, right, up, or down. The dot appearance is 3/4 to 1 inch as far as my eye, what I can see, at 15 yards. So if you can picture a 1 inch dot at 15 yards covering up your target, that's what it's going to look like. The pellet I was using was the Winchester 9.7 grain wad cutter. This is very heavy for the Daisy 840, but it's a very inexpensive pellet. It's only, I call them penny pellets because they're usually around 500 for $5, which is a great deal. Our muzzle velocity on this pellet was 220 feet per second. Our muzzle velocity at 15 yards was 143 feet per second. This was just a quick sample now. It's not a 10-shot string or anything like that. The energy at muzzle is 1.04 foot-pounds of energy, so about the same energy as a Daisy Red Ryder at point-blank range. But the energy at 15 yards really falls off quite a bit because of the fact that we have such a massive drop in velocity. Once again, this was just a quick crony test here. It wasn't a 10-shot string. Same thing with the ballistic coefficient. The ballistic coefficient would change if I would do a 10-shot string. I could give you an average ballistic coefficient. But the 15-yard ballistic coefficient, since this is kind of slow and it's a wad cutter, is 0.0043, which is probably half of what you want it for going out to 25 yards. But the thing is that the low ballistic coefficient has a lot to do sometimes with the low velocity too. So if you have too low of a velocity, you can get a really low ballistic coefficient because that pellet it's in the barrel, it's stuck, and it just can't move anywhere. So what we got here is we've got 10 shots of these pellets, and the center to center group size was 2 inches. The dot target is exactly 2 inches right here. So if you look at this right here, the group, what we could do now that we've shot this target to get it more center here, what we do is we find the center of the group, which is right here where I have this line right here. Center of the group's right there. And then find the center of the target, which is right there. And so maybe about 8 clicks up and we'll be center. So we'll move this group right here more center. So basically 8 clicks is about a 1/2 inch. So that we would move that up or whatever. And this is based on 12.5 yards to 15 yards. It's not perfect. You know, you have to experiment with your click values. because of the fact the accuracy is going to be different shot to shot. One shot might be up here, one shot might be here. And then what I have here is the velocity at 20 yards, and then here's the velocity at 25 yards. Notice that at 25 yards it's 106 feet per second. 123 feet per second, to give you an idea of how fast that's going, that's kind of like a slingshot speed. You know, if you put a pellet inside of a slingshot, it'd be going about 120. So that kind of gives you an idea. So, yeah, that's 25 yards. Let me read off the velocity again for you real quick. So muzzle velocity, 220 feet per second at 15 yards, 143. At 20 yards, 123 feet per second, and at 25 yards, 106 feet per second. So anyway, and I'm also recording this video testing one of my Android phones I got for $12 a few years back at Target. It's a Kyocera Event, and it's recording at 800 by 480 or something like that. And I did know that it does work pretty good as long as there's not like fast motion or anything like that. Seems to work out good for videos and super fast uploads. So, but anyway, thank you very much for watching.